So as part of changes introduced after a $44 billion takeover of the social media giant Twitter, Elon Musk says it is essential to defeat spam accounts. A blue tick symbol next to a username, normally for high-profile figures, is currently free. Musk says Twitter will charge $8 monthly to Twitter users who want a blue tick by their name, indicating a verified account. Critics say the move could make it harder to identify reliable sources. To help us make sense of the latest developments around Twitter, we're joined by Vermuelen, editor-at-large at My Broadband. Jan, a very good morning to you. So birds are chirping, but the melody is not so sweet. We understand this week that research has indicated that since the takeover by Elon Musk, hate speech has gone up on the social media platform. Why is he on every bird's melody?
Good morning. Yes. So Elon Musk has a difficult task in front of him, and that's to try and make Twitter make money, to get the platform in a place where it's at least covering its costs. And then on top of that, dealing with the so-called free speech issues that he wanted to tackle. So Elon Musk felt that Twitter wasn't balancing content moderation with freedom of speech good enough. So he wanted to come in and do a better job. And part of that problem is the huge amount of bot activity on the platform and fake accounts. Because not all of the sort of false activity is automated. Bots kind of implies automated. Some of it, like we've experienced here in South Africa, is orchestrated by PR agencies, like we saw with the Guptas, and Bell Pottinger. So it's a challenging and daunting task that I think a lot of people wanted to warn Mr. Musk about, but which he just didn't want to hear how complex this can be, and when you suddenly start coming in and make sweeping changes, like firing large chunks of your content moderation team, and tweaking how the Twitter algorithm works, as has been speculated, then you end up with a situation where toxic speech on the platform increases, and taking away all of the political arguments. I know toxic is a triggering word for some people, and even hate speech can be subjective. The bottom line is, for a social platform like Twitter, when you have fake activity and inflammatory activity like this, what happens is that the measured, reasonable, and knowledgeable voices on the platform just back away. They just stop using it. And the fact is that Twitter was having that problem before Elon Musk took over. So a lot of stuff is being blamed on Elon Musk now. But Twitter has been having these Twitter has been having these problems for a while now. And what's happening under Elon Musk is that everything is under extreme scrutiny, I think, for the first time on both sides of the political aisle, so to speak, and all of a sudden these problems are becoming more discussed because a high-profile figure like Elon Musk is involved.
Sure. Speaking of the bottom line, he tweeted 9 hours ago that regarding Twitter's reduction in force, unfortunately, there is no choice when the company is losing over $4 million a day. Everyone exited was offered 3 months of severance, which is 50% more than legally required. This is a businessman, after all, and data is gold. So you're going to be making decisions that may not be popular, but that lead to a healthy bottom line.
Yes, and there's going to be different versions of these stories, right? So there's going to be long-standing employees who say that they deserve more severance. There's going to be stories coming out, like we've already seen coming out, that Elon Musk is looking for excuses to fire people like the former CEO and CFO without giving them their so-called golden parachutes or golden handshakes. And so there's always going to be two sides of these stories. There's going to be, as you say, the shrewd businessman on the one side who's drastically overpaid for this platform, for Twitter to deserve its $41 or $44 billion valuation. There's a lot of cleaning up to do. And so now he's kind of got to make lemonade with the lemons that he's got. And it was always going to have to involve a huge reduction in workforce at Twitter. That's, I think anybody who has seen these mergers and acquisitions play out know that pretty much the first thing that happens is a massive round of layoffs.
In terms of getting the money to actually buy Twitter, we understand there's some loans that have been made. So he went through great lengths to acquire the company. Do you perceive maybe that he should run, or he should have from the beginning have just been a silent partner running things from the background?
I think that was what the Twitter board had initially offered. When Twitter became, the single largest shareholder in the company, they offered him a spot on the board. But then, unfortunately, he ran his mouth, as he so often does, and made an offer on the platform. And, one can speculate about it, but in hindsight, it really doesn't look like it was well thought through, given the amount that was offered and then how hard he fought to try and reduce that amount later down the line. So, yes, perhaps he could have remained in the background and seen if he could make changes that way. But ultimately, the kind of sweeping changes that's happening there now would not have been possible without a takeover. And plus, Elon Musk, even back then, said he believed that part of the problem with Twitter is that it's a public company. So he believed that to solve the problems, it needed to be taken private. And that means buying out all the shareholders and delisting it and taking it private. And even then, we've learned that Jack Dorsey, the founder and former CEO of Twitter, co-founder, I should say, has actually remained on as a private partner in Twitter. He's let his shareholding ride, so to speak. So he's managed to get a whole bunch of existing shareholders on his side with this deal.
Jan, are you on Twitter?
I am.
Does all of this hullabaloo, argy-bargy matter for you? Will you be deactivating your account?
No, but I'm not an active tweeter. I'm not one of those heavy users that Twitter is so desperately trying to keep. As a journalist, Twitter is a valuable tool to kind of keep your finger on the pulse on what's happening online. I should say online, because what happens on Twitter is what happens to, in the world of the perpetually online. It's divorced from the real world almost entirely. But it is an important tool to keep track of breaking news. And so journalists have kind of flocked to the platform and remain on the platform. But I certainly will not be taking part in any political discussions on Twitter, that's for sure.
Thank you very much to Jan Vermuelen, my broadband editor at large.